welcome back. Artificial intelligence has a huge impact on the daily lives of people around the globe, although it can sometimes go unnoticed. AI transforms societies through education, workforce and health. However, it can equally have dire consequences through misuse and challenge what it means to be human. As Namibia readies itself to host the Southern Africa Sub-Regional Forum on Artificial Intelligence that's scheduled to take place in Windhoek on the 7th and 9th of September, we're now joined in studio by Dr. Nhlanhla Lupahla, General Manager of RSTIC S at NCRST, also the Chairperson of the SARFAI Steering Committee. Dr. Nhlanhla, good evening. Thank you so much for being here on the Daily Roundup.
Good evening, Nina, and thank you for having me in the studio.
Now, last year, Dr. UNESCO, with its member states, adopted recommendations on the ethics of artificial intelligence, being the first global agreement. How has countries been faring, in the usage of AI?
Thank you, Nina. Maybe I should start by referring to the recommendation on AI ethics that were adopted in the UN General Assembly 9 to 14 September, I think, 2021 last year, whereby countries looked at mechanisms of ethically using artificial intelligence. Now, the challenge is, though these are technologies that support, for example, the production systems, processes in the fourth industrial revolution, if they are not properly handled, they can abuse human rights. We have seen, for example, inappropriate use of social media platforms where your privacy can be affected as a user. I'm not sure if I got the entire question right. Or
yes, that's fine. We can move on for the sake of time. But perhaps you can briefly talk to us, about AI literacy and AI competencies, and also why it's so important.
Yes. Now, generally, when we talk of literacy, we are looking at the ability to express ourselves and put our ideas in written expression. Whereas competencies would be those skills that you need. And in the case of AI literacy, such competencies that will be required will be digital literacy, for example. Computational literacy, data literacy. That's why you see emerging sciences like data sciences, because when we talk of artificial intelligence, these are machines that are given the capacity to think like human beings and to act, if not better, than human beings. And that involves a lot of management of data. So you have related competencies that one requires to be AI literate.
Doctor, are there ethical and non-ethical ways in which artificial intelligence can be used? Talk to us about that.
Yes. Let me talk to not only scientists, but anyone who could be a layman. We have applications like Siri, for example.
Right.
Siri is this voice detecting algorithm on our smartphones. What happens is when you speak to Siri, it gets your data to process and give you an output, which could be you are interrogating, for example, what a term could mean. And then this app is supposed to switch off. When you switch it off, it's supposed to switch off.
Right.
But what happens, some of the manufacturers, they actually ensure that it automatically switches itself on. And at that moment, it means it's getting your data without your consent.
Right.
That's a very good example of unethical use. When I'm using your data without your consent and without your knowledge. That's just one simple example that I can give.
And the ethical route would look like what? Obviously,
well, I would say the opposite would be the ethical route.
Yes.
When I am getting your data with your consent, you are aware of the purpose I'm going to use your data. Or let's say in medical diagnosis, where I get your data in order to diagnose whatever illness it could be that you having, and then I'm doing it to improve your health or to address a health-related problem, then
Of
I'm
course, it
ethically
can
using
become
it.
very tricky when it comes to apps like you've just mentioned, because of course, you know, when you download an app onto your mobile device, there's always a document that is long with terms and
Yes.
conditions, which nobody really reads, and you click and you agree to these terms and conditions. So it does become tricky when we're talking in this specific aspect.
Certainly it does become tricky, Nina, and that's why you talked of AI literacy. And I think now when we become AI literate,
Yeah.
we will take time to go through these documents,
Yeah,
because it's not only with AI apps that we do that. Even a simple thing that we buy from the shops, a contract document, we rarely go through,
Yes.
because we need to get our product out of the shop, and later on it becomes a challenge when we breach that contract that we have not actually read it. That's why that literacy component is very
It's
important.
very important. Doctor, how can the Southern Africa sub-regions tap into AI?
Yes, and rightfully said, Nina, that is one of the opportunities that we have now that we have this AI forum coming, because it's going to put us in a network of best practices. We have several participants that will come from Europe and the entire Africa, not only sub-Saharan Africa, where we will share these challenges that have been experienced through the deployment of AI technologies. And indeed, there are many benefits in terms of improving our processes. Talk of agriculture. Imagine a time when you can go on vacation and you leave a simple machine to monitor the watering of your garden in your absence, but you can still control it via your smartphone, for example. You no longer need to be bound physically in the area where your processes are taking place. You can actually multitask, improve your agricultural output, almost predict when is it right that I should plant this kind. I'm trying to talk to everyone here. That's why I'm avoiding too technical terms.
Yes, thank you so much. Speaking of, you know, sub-Africa regions tapping into AI, is Namibia fully utilizing, you know, the transformational benefits of artificial intelligence, would you say?
I will give a very simple example. Namibia is running at the moment, if I'm not mistaken, 3 rural development centers. They talk of appropriate technologies. It's supposed to be technologies that are developed to address community problems where these centers are. I know one is in Ongwediva, in Hardap there is one, and I think Omaheke. One of the products that is being developed through those appropriate technology are these heavy toilet seats made out of clay. You find Zambezi region ordering 120 toilet seats from Ongwediva, and it would require, I don't know, it's unfortunate there's no railway line. If there was, it would have been a railway line, but look at the work input they have to deal with. Not realizing that we have technologies like 3D printing, which can reduce that workload and create more seats at a cheaper rate, plastic-based than clay-based. And that is 3D printing, which is actually AI technology, because you give an algorithm to instruct the machines what to do, and we are not, in that context, working in the sphere of sanitation, making use of the advantages of AI.
So that's a yes and a no.
That means we are really a long way to
go,
to get there. And the issue of skills themselves,
of course,
we have to develop our skills for our youngsters, our youth, to be prepared in the implementation of these technologies.
Doctor, that's all the time we have this evening, but thank you so much for being here, and all the best with the event taking place on the 7th and the 9th.
Thank you very much, Nina. And I would like to invite anyone who has not managed to register face-to-face to still go online and register and be part of this event.
Awesome. Thank you.
Thank you, Nina.
Well, there you have